First contact, the sky burned crimson as the Chrysiri ships descended upon Sydney Harbor. Dr. Chen watched from the university rooftop as metallic vessels larger than skyscrapers positioned themselves over major cities. His hands trembled while documenting. Humanity's darkest hour? They want to meet with you. Admiral Cooper approached from behind, startling Dr. Chen. Their commander has requested Earth's foremost linguist, why me? Dr. Chen whispered, his voice barely audible over the distant sounds. Of evacuation because you're the only one who's managed to decipher parts of their language. Cooper replied, and right now, we need every advantage we can get. The transport to the Chrysiri command ship took 12 minutes, but felt like hours. The alien vessel's interior gleamed with a bioluminescent purple glow, strange symbols pulsing along curved walls that seemed almost alive. Security drones floated silently, monitoring his every movement. Wait here, a human officer instructed before. Disappearing through a membrane-like door, Chen stood alone in the antechamber, his reflection distorted in the polished obsidian floor. Minutes passed before the door rippled open, revealing her commander Nara Vith stood taller than any human. Her slender form draped in form-fitting armor that caught the light like liquid mercury. Her skin was a deep violet hue, patterns of bioluminescence tracing beneath the surface like constellations. But what struck Dr. Chen most were her eyes, prismatic and calculating. They held the cold intelligence of a predator. Dr. James Chen. She spoke his name with perfect pronunciation, her voice melodic yet unnervingly precise. I am Commander Nara Vith, sovereign emissary of the Chrysiri Dominion. He bowed. Slightly unsure of proper protocol, I'm honored to meet you. Commander, though I wish it were under different circumstances. Something flickered across her face, perhaps surprise. You speak without fear, she observed, unusual among your kind. Fear doesn't help communication, he replied, and I believe that's why I'm here. Nara circled him. Her movements fluid and precise. Your world has been incorporated into the Dominion. As is our custom, we require cultural interpreters to facilitate transition. You have been selected, Dr. Chen repeated. Not given a choice. Choice is inefficient, she stated. The Chrysiri value order structure and advancement. Your species values freedom, emotion, and individuality. These concepts are incompatible with efficient governance, yet you need someone who understands those concepts. Nara paused, studying him with those unsettling eyes precisely. Your function is to translate not just language, but cultural nuance. You will serve as my advisor during Earth's assimilation, and if I refuse, then another will be chosen, she replied without emotion. Your cooperation is preferred, not required, Doctor. Chen looked past her to the viewport where Earth hung suspended in blackness, his home now at the mercy of beings who saw emotion as weakness and freedom as chaos. I'll do it, he said finally. Not for your dominion, but for my people. Nara's lips curved slightly, though it wasn't quite a smile. Fascinating, your decision is based on emotional attachment rather than logic, she observed, yet you reached the correct conclusion. Report to this chamber tomorrow at first light. You will be given quarters appropriate to your station. As she turned to leave, Dr. Chen noticed a small pendant hanging from her neck bearing a symbol he hadn't seen in any of the Chrysiri language samples. Commander, he called that symbol. What does it mean? She touched the pendant briefly, her expression unchanging. It means seeker, a reminder that knowledge is the only worthy pursuit. Without another word, she left him alone. In the vast chamber dire, Chen stared out at the distant blue of Earth, wondering what knowledge this alien commander sought and whether it might be the key to saving his world. Walls of protocol. 3 weeks into Earth's occupation, and Dr. Chen found himself escorting Commander Nara through the remains of Sydney's botanical gardens. The alien leader had developed an unexpected fascination with Earth's flora, requesting daily excursions to document various ecosystems. These adapt to environmental changes without technological intervention, Nara observed, touching a resilient fern that had already begun reclaiming areas damaged during the invasion. Remarkable efficiency. Nature finds a way, Dr. Chen replied, watching her violet fingers trace the delicate leaves. Something my people have always admired. Nara straightened her posture, perfect as always. The Chrysiri believe adaptation should be controlled, engineered, not left to chance. Your species allows too much randomness, and yet that randomness created all this. He gestured to the vibrant biodiversity surrounding them. Perhaps there's wisdom in imperfection. A small frown crossed her features. You often speak in such philosophical terms, Dr. Chen. The Dominion Council would consider it inefficient communication. Then why do you tolerate it? He asked. Watching her carefully, something shifted in her prismatic eyes. I find your perspective provides unexpected data points. She paused, selecting her words. The Chrysari value comprehensive understanding. They continued walking in silence until reaching a small pond where lotus flowers bloomed despite the season. To Dr. Chen's surprise, Nara knelt beside the water, her reflection rippling alongside the flowers. In your literature, these symbolize rebirth, she said softly, rising from darkness into light. A curious metaphor. How do you know about lotus symbolism? I've been studying your cultural archives. She admitted, your species produces excessive artistic output, yet I find patterns within the chaos insights that our analytical methods miss. Dr. Chen knelt beside her, their reflections merging in the water. What insights have you found, Commander? For a brief moment, her carefully maintained facade seemed to waver. Your people create beauty without purpose, emotion without function. You celebrate impermanence rather than fearing it. The Dominion cannot comprehend this in you. He asked, Can you comprehend it? Before she could answer, her communication device pulsed. Nara immediately stood, resuming her rigid posture. Supreme Archon Krell requests my presence return to your quarters immediately. Back in his assigned chamber, a luxurious prison within the command ship, Dr. Chen found himself unable to sleep. His thoughts kept returning to that moment by the pond, the brief glimpse of something beneath Nara's controlled exterior. A soft chime interrupted his reflection. The door membrane rippled, revealing Commander Nara, her usual battle attire replaced by a simpler silver tunic, her violet skin luminescent in the dim light. Commander, he stood surprised. Is something wrong? I wish to continue our discussion, she stated, entering his quarters. The Supreme Archon believes I am spending excessive time studying Earth culture. He suggests immediate implementation of standard assimilation protocols. Dr. Chen felt ice in his veins. What does that mean exactly? Systematic replacement of indigenous governance, language, and cultural institutions, she explained. Clinically, resistance would be met with population reduction measures. You mean genocide? He whispered. The Dominion considers it necessary restructuring, she countered, though something in her voice lacked conviction. And what do you consider it, Nara? He used her name for the first time. She turned away, facing the viewport. The Dominion raised me to lead, not to question. She touched the seeker pendant at her throat. Yet I find Earth defies standard classification. Your art, your music, your limitless capacity for adaptation without direction. It contradicts our fundamental assumptions. Dr. Chen approached her cautiously. Perhaps that's why you're here to seek knowledge beyond your assumptions. Such thinking would be considered corruption. She said quietly, the Archon already questions my methods. What happens if you fail to implement these protocols? Nara turned, meeting his gaze directly. I would be recalled, another commander appointed, one who would not hesitate. Dr. Chen realized the implication behind her presence in his quarters. You're considering alternatives. I am considering nothing, she replied sharply, though her eyes betrayed uncertainty. I am merely gathering comprehensive data before proceeding. As she moved to leave, her hand briefly brushed his. The contact lasted only a moment, but Dr. Chen felt an electric current between them. Nara paused, as if experiencing the same sensation, her prismatic eyes widening slightly. Commander, he said softly, there's an old Earth saying, knowledge isn't just about gathering data, it's about understanding. She stood motionless at the threshold. And what am I failing to understand, Dr. Chen? Sometimes the most valuable discoveries aren't found in protocols, he replied. They're found in connections. Nara left without responding, but Dr. Chen noticed she'd left something behind. A small crystal sphere that, when activated, projected a three-dimensional map of the stars, not the standard Chrysari navigation chart, but Earth's constellations, as seen by human eyes. He held the gift carefully, wondering what message she meant to convey, and whether this alien commander was beginning to see the universe through different eyes. Forbidden feelings. The Chrysari command ship hovered above Mount Fuji cherry blossoms, swirling in the updrafts created by its massive engines. Dr. Chen watched as Commander Nara studied the ancient mountain, her violet skin contrasting with the pink. Petals drifting around them, your people built shrines here, she observed. Not for practical purpose, but for spiritual connection, a concept my people abandoned centuries ago. Do you ever wonder what was lost in that abandonment? Dr. Chen asked. Picking up a fallen blossom, Nara's expression remained neutral, but her eyes betrayed. A new depth the Dominion would say nothing of value was lost. Efficiency gained, clarity achieved, and what would Nara say? He pressed gently. She turned to him, the wind stirring her silver-white hair. Nara is the Dominion, she stated, though her voice lacked conviction. A sudden explosion rocked the mountainside. Dr. Chen stumbled as the ground shifted beneath them. Nara's reflexes were instantaneous, her body moving to shield his as debris rained around them. Resistance faction, she hissed, activating her communication device. Intercept team to my location. Wait, Dr. Chen grabbed her wrist, surprising both of them with the boldness of his touch. Me speak with them first. They're scared, desperate, they're terrorists. She countered, though she didn't pull away from his grasp. They're humans fighting for their home, he insisted. Please, Nara, give me 5 minutes. Something in her expression shifted. For minutes, she conceded. Lowering her weapon, Dr. Chen approached the rubble where 3 resistance fighters crouched, their makeshift weapons trembling in untrained hands. He recognized one of them, Professor Amina Sahara, his former colleague James. She whispered, You're collaborating with them? I'm trying to prevent more bloodshed, he explained quickly. The commander is different, Amina. Just questioning their methods. There may be another way. They're monsters. Another fighter spat. They've destroyed everything. Not everything, Dr. Chen insisted. Not yet. Please lower your weapons. Let me negotiate. After tense moments, Amina nodded, signaling the others. They surrendered their weapons as Nara approached, her posture cautious, but not threatening. Your methods are ineffective, she told the fighters clinically. You cannot defeat the Dominion through force. Then how? Mina demanded. By submitting to slavery. Something unexpected flashed across Nara's face. The Dominion does not practice slavery. We bring order advancement. You bring conformity, Amina retorted. You strip away everything that makes us human. Dr. Chen watched Nara closely, seeing conflict in her usually composed features. Commander, perhaps we should continue this discussion. At the base, this area isn't secure. To everyone's surprise, Nara nodded. You have my protection, she told the fighters. No harm will come to you under my authority. Later that evening, after the fighters had been given quarters rather than cells, Dr. Chen found Nara alone in the ship's observation dome. The curved, transparent ceiling revealed the night sky, Earth's constellations shining above them. You spared them, he said, joining her beneath the stars. Against protocol, your intervention was logical, she replied, not meeting his eyes. Minimal casualties, efficient resolution. That's not why you did it. Nara remained silent for a long moment. No, she finally admitted, it isn't. Dr. Chen moved closer. Then why? I saw you, she whispered, her voice barely audible, standing between worlds, between them and me. Willing to risk yourself for understanding. Her hand moved to her pendant, a true seeker. Nara, he breathed her name. I have studied your world for 37 days, she continued. Your art, your music, your endless contradictions, and I have studied you, James Chen. Your kindness, your conviction, your ability to see beyond what is to what could be. She turned to him, then her prismatic eyes reflecting starlight. The Dominion raised me to reject emotion, to see it as weakness, yet I feel her voice caught when I'm with you. I feel Dr. Chen stepped forward, closing the distance between them. His hand, trembling slightly, rose to touch her cheek, her violet skin warm beneath. His fingers. What do you feel? He asked. Softly, instead of answering, Nara leaned forward, pressing her lips to his. The kiss was hesitant at first, then deepened as centuries of Krisari. Conditioning crumbled beneath something more powerful than protocol. The stars wheeled above them as they held each other, time seeming to suspend in the perfect moment of connection when they finally parted. Held my all. Nara's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with intensity Dr. Chen had never witnessed before. She took his hand, pressing it over her heart, where he felt its rapid beating. This is treason, she whispered. By Dominion law? By everything I was taught to believe, and by your own belief? He asked, holding her gaze. By my own belief it is awakening, she replied. But the Archon suspects already. He questions my reports, demands harsher measures. Your resistance. Friends, we're only the beginning, James. The Dominion will not tolerate deviation. Then what happens now? Nara's expression grew troubled. Tomorrow, I am ordered to implement full cultural suppression, beginning with historical archives, universities, creative centers. She touched his face gently. Everything you value, and if you refuse, then they will send someone who won't, she said simply. Someone who hasn't learned to feel. Their foreheads touched, an intimate gesture as they stood suspended between stars and consequences, neither speaking the words that hung between them, the impossible choice that tomorrow would bring. Outside the observation dome, unnoticed by the embracing pair, a surveillance drone recorded everything, transmitting directly to Supreme Archon. Krell's vessels 16,000 kilometers above. Empire's ultimatum, Supreme Archon. And Krell's hologram towered in the command center, his features twisted with disgust. Commander Vith, you stand accused of emotional contamination, betrayal of Dominion principles. His voice boomed. Explain yourself. Nara stood rigidly, her face a mask hiding the turmoil within. I have been gathering comprehensive data on human resistance patterns. My approach yields valuable insights. Your approach yields corruption. Krell hissed the surveillance footage. Playing beside him, showing her kiss with Dr. Chen, you have allowed yourself to be infected by their primitive emotions. The humans are more complex than our initial assessment, she argued. Standard assimilation protocols will provoke maximum resistance, then they will face maximum consequences. Krell's eyes narrowed. The purification fleet arrives tomorrow. You will begin immediate implementation of Protocol Omega, starting with the elimination of cultural centers and their defenders. Dr. Chen watched from the chamber's edge, his heart racing. That would mean millions of deaths. Krell's massive hologram turned toward him. This human speaks without permission. Terminate him. No. Nara stepped forward. He is essential to my research. Your research is concluded, Commander Krell declared. You have 24 hours to prove your loyalty. Begin with this human's execution or face replacement. After the transmission ended, Nara turned to Dr. Chen, her composure finally breaking. I cannot protect you anymore, she whispered. The purification fleet, they'll destroy everything. Dr. Chen took her hands. Then we must act now. Show me the Dominion's weakness. There is none, she replied, then hesitated, touching her seeker pendant. Except perhaps one, the central network. If compromise could temporarily disable our planetary defenses, then that's our chance, he urged. For both our peoples. Nara, her prismatic eyes met his, filled with newfound determination. What I'm considering is unprecedented in Krisari history. Sometimes history needs to be rewritten, he said softly. Nara pulled him close, kissing him with desperate intensity. Then let us rewrite it together. Stars realigned, alarms blared throughout the command ship. As Nara and Dr. Chen raced through pulsing corridors, the network core is 3 levels down, she explained, disabling the security fields with her command codes. Once inside, we have 90 seconds before the system locks us out. Will it be enough?
Time.
Dr. Chen asked, following her through the ship's twisting architecture. It must be, she replied grimly. They reached the central chamber, a cathedral-like space dominated by a crystalline structure pulsing with energy. Ara's fingers flew across the control interface as Dr. Chen stood guard. Khan Krell's vessel has detected the breach, he warned, seeing approaching security drones on the monitor. Almost there, she muttered, her bioluminescent patterns glowing intensely with concentration. Initiating override sequence, the crystal core flared with blinding light as Nara uploaded the disruption code. She'd secretly developed a virus designed to temporarily cripple the Dominion's command structure. The ship shuddered around them. Systems flickering. It's done, she breathed. Earth's resistance has the window they need. Security drones burst into the chamber, weapons raised. But before they could fire, the entire ship lurched violently, throwing everyone off balance. The view screen showed the impossible, the purification fleet appearing, early weapons already targeting Earth's surface. No, Nara whispered. We're too late. Dr. Chen grabbed her hand. There's still a way. The command override your authority. It would mean my execution, she said quietly, but perhaps something more important can live. She straightened her posture for perhaps the last time as Commander Vith, of the Chrysary Dominion and activated the emergency broadcast channel. "This is Commander Nara Vith invoking Article 7 of the Dominion Charter." Her voice rang with authority. "I claim protection status for Earth under the ancient preservation codes." Krell's furious face appeared on screen. "You have no such authority, traitor. I have every authority." She countered, "As the highest-ranking seeker in this sector, I declare Earth a protected world of unique cultural significance. Its destruction would violate the founding principles of knowledge preservation." The ship rocked with weapons fire as Krell's vessel targeted them directly. "You die with them, then," he snarled. Nara turned to Dr. Chen as alarms screamed around them. "I choose this," she whispered. "I choose feeling over protocol, love over dominion." As Krell's ship prepared its final strike, something unexpected happened. Other Chrysarii vessels moved into defensive positions around Earth, their commanders appearing on screen one by one. "We support the Seeker's declaration," they announced. "Earth will be preserved." Months later, as the last Dominion ships departed under the new treaty, Nara and Dr. Chen stood on the same mountaintop where they'd first begun to understand each other. The cherry blossoms were blooming again. "Your people have shown remarkable resilience," she observed, her violet skin glowing softly in the sunset. "Rebuilding so quickly." "Our people," he corrected, taking her hand. "Both human and Chrysarii, the Seekers who chose understanding over conquest." Nara smiled, a genuine expression that once would have been impossible for her. "The Dominion will return eventually. The old ways run deep." "We'll be ready," Dr. Chen replied, "with something stronger than weapons: knowledge, compassion, understanding." He touched the Seeker pendant now hanging around his own neck, matching the one she still wore, the things worth protecting in any world. As twilight faded to night, they stood together between stars, neither fully of Earth nor of the distant Chrysarii worlds, but somewhere new, something unprecedented in the history of either civilization, the beginning of a bridge across the vast darkness, a connection that had changed the heart of an empire.